There's so much happening. Okay. I'm going right into it. Iran has launched its counterattack. Ladies and gentlemen, there are clouds coming out of Tel Aviv in the night sky like shooting stars. I could really use a wish right now. We're going to take a look at everything. Do not Fed post in the chat. Do not Fed post in the chat. That is crazy.
The conflict and saying he respected Israel's right to self-defense. That coming to us in the last few moments, apparently from the Times. So we'll keep across that situation. As you can see, the Iron Dome, the defense system that Israel deploys, working successfully at the moment. Citizens across Israel have been told to go to shelters. Alerts and sirens have been sounding across the country. Keeping across the situation in Jerusalem and indeed Tel Aviv, that footage there of smoke rising on the horizon. Well, just 6 months ago, Iran's foreign minister told Sky News that Israel would be crazy
not
to
an
attack
idiot immediately defend
sites.
Israel ongoing
a lot has
terrorism
changed since then, including a nuclear deal proposed by Washington and a new assessment of how close Iran is to making nuclear bombs.
I can't believe they're still fucking talking about this. Jesus Christ. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take a look. Al Jazeera. Smoke billowing in Tel Aviv after a barrage of missiles targeted central Israel.
In Israel, and judging
the Iranian retaliation has started, ladies and gentlemen.
That looks like it's a residential area. We still obviously don't know if there's anyone been injured, but this
I think it's going to be limited. I think it's going to be restrained. I don't think that it's going to. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think Iran has the smoke. But perhaps I'm wrong.
It absolutely was. And in fact, we heard from the Israeli Prime Minister, from the chief of the National Security Council.
Do we have a blast off meme? Chatter, do we got a blast off meme or not?
To mitigate, in order to limit the amount of damage that Iranian retaliation can do. And so there was an expectation of a very violent response from Iran. And this,
Bibi's on the run.
You know, as we've been hearing from military experts and analysts in Israel, is the beginning of such a response. We don't know, like I said, we don't have confirmation.
Can you imagine if
Greece, on the location,
a signatory of the ICC, can you imagine if Greece fucking turned around and arrested Benjamin Netanyahu? Please, for the love of Christ and all things holy, for the love of Allah, for the love of all the gods, okay? Could you imagine a world where during this Iranian retaliation, it's an excellent five-head play, an excellent 5D chess move, where Benjamin Netanyahu, of course, flies. Anyway, as I was saying, I can't believe you were talking so highly of Greece and you call yourself a Turk. I mean, guys, I'm desperate, okay? I'm desperate for justice. So, yes. And in desperate times, even a Turk such as myself will hope for Greece to do the right thing and not assume that they will be cowardly participants. Except they are going to be cowardly participants, let's be real. But I'm just fantasizing.
Is in a state of emergency. Schools have been shut down since the early morning hours. Businesses as well. Everything by way of a normal daily routine has been halted, and only the very basics, the more than crucial activities are being allowed to proceed, including public transportation. That it's only being allowed to be used if absolutely necessary. Hospitals are on high alert. They've been told to clear as many beds as possible.
Medics in Tel Aviv, no initial injuries reported. That is expected.
Medical attention in smaller facilities. So there are those precautions, there are those preparations, plans that have been in place for months, if not years. They keep being updated on a regular basis because attacking Iran has been central to Israeli foreign policy, certainly under the leadership of Benjamin Netanyahu for many, many years. And the Israeli bureaucracy, the Israeli army is ready in terms of planning of how to respond, how to anticipate and try to mitigate any kind of damage to civilian infrastructure.
Okay, thank you very much, Noor Al-Day, for that update on the latest that you're seeing, the situation that we're seeing in Tel Aviv with those explosions. We're still getting more information now. Iran has launched hundreds of ballistic missiles towards Israel, and that's according to the Iranian news.
ABC special report just started.
Uncertainty and certainly one.
God damn, dude.
For the kids and possibly here.
Right, well, moments ago, the skies of Tel Aviv were ablaze as Iran fired a barrage of missiles
We heard the
towards
radio
Israel.
announcement on the
Some
loudspeaker like
projectiles
we've
seen
heard
there
before,
clearly.
telling people to get to a shelter, and we'll be here until we get the all clear and when it's apparently deemed safe to be able to leave this shelter here, Diane.
And Martha, we had already been told that there were plans underway to potentially try to
Israeli
get
Ministry of
American
Defense headquarters has
employees
just
out
been
who are working
struck.
for the
Okay,
government
there's
in
going to
the
be a
Middle
lot of
East.
fake news that's flying around everywhere, by the way. Obviously, first of all, let's blast off. I just dove right into it. And there's a lot of backstory that I have to cover, but obviously the breaking story is happening at this very moment. Had to get into it immediately, but yes, moments ago, Iranian missiles were launched towards Israel, and from what I understand, multiple missiles have not been successfully intercepted. Remember, this is a multi-billion-dollar operation. You got Tamir interceptors that are for the smaller munitions, like, and you have the Arrow systems in Israel as well. But then on top of that, you have anti-defense missile systems to protect Israel and Jordan, and you have the entirety of the American Central Command working actively to stop, working actively in real time to stop all of these fucking missiles from touching a hair on the head of anyone in Israel. And even then, in spite of all of that, Iranian missiles have been able to penetrate into Tel Aviv, as you have seen before, and they're still doing it. I mean, you can see it. Look, the ones that are flying from the ground are the interceptor missiles. They're anti-defense missile systems, and yet, in spite of that, the Iron Dome can be overwhelmed, as the Iranian retaliation last time around showed. This seemingly, according to Elant News, who's in the chat already, appears to be in the vicinity of IDF headquarters. We don't have enough information coming yet. Obviously, Israel also has deep censorship laws. I mean, even though they got hella fucking smartphones out there, and there's like literally Israeli chatters in here who can just like confirm or deny what's going on. But I think last time when this happened, the Israeli military immediately applied censorship and tried to stop the information from coming out, like confirming strike targets and whatnot. But the reason why I'm mentioning this is because obviously in the interim there is going to be some misinformation. There's going to be a lot of misinformation flying around as always. So just, you know, be aware of that when you're bringing in information here, and try to go after trusted resources. I suspect that Iran is not done yet. This barrage is just simply the first salvo. There will be more that comes. They have to, in terms of self-preservation, self-defense, and ensuring that they do not get completely eviscerated. I suspect that the Iranian government's calculation here is going to be part restrained, so not so aggressive that they actively try to take out like heads of state or anything like that. Just like Israel itself demonstrates some of that restraint in comparison to how fucking belligerent they are when they don't actually go after heads of state and stuff like that, but they assassinated a big chunk of the military command. They assassinated some top military officials, some nuclear scientists in residential areas. I don't know the exact number of casualties in Iran due to the Israeli strikes, but there was a relatively sophisticated infiltration campaign that Mossad had conducted, as far as I understand. This is not like glazed to Israel at all, but I think it also shows a weakness within Iranian national security that directly stems from the resentment that the Iranian population, some in the Iranian population, have towards this administration due to its fundamentalist attitudes, especially amongst the Iranian youth, and also the fact that also the fact that the country is in turmoil economically, and it's much easier to basically purchase allegiances internally within Iran. The fact that Mossad was able to create a drone shop inside of Tehran, from what I understand, and then utilize those drones immediately to take out anti-air defense systems that Iran has, and then go after the missile salvo, goes beyond the notion of Israel gets to do whatever it wants and can use overwhelming force because they're backed by the most powerful country on the planet. Obviously, that plays a major role. There are no repercussions for Israel, but make no mistake, the very fact that they are able to build a drone facility, like a tiny drone facility inside of Iranian national boundaries, implies that there are massive fucking leaks within the IRGC, within the Iranian government, and that they can take advantage of the Iranian population's discontent to a certain degree. So this is a major problem for Iranian sovereignty in general. This is a major problem for Iranian security, and I suspect that a big part of the reason why this is even taking place, or even took place, is because of that glaringly obvious weakness, one that I have even mentioned in the past. The regime's attitude and fundamentalist attitude specifically, paired up with the economic sanctions strangling the economy of Iran, and causing volatility, creates a major weakness that the Israeli intelligence has clearly exploited successfully. Now, like I said, does Iran have the capability of really punishing Israel, like doing the deed, right? Doing the thing that people are worried about, understandably, like killing a bunch of civilians, or potentially even assassinating like heads of state, or even simultaneously activating sleeper cells that I suspect they might have internally inside of Israel, as they did last time around? No, it's not, of course not, situation. It's more so governments have tremendous power. Does Israel have the power to assassinate the Iranian head of state? Yes. Did they do that? No, not yet, at least. Okay? You forget. Just as Iran has more power than what it is showing right now. Okay? Israel calls for regime change all the time. There's a difference between calling for regime change for decades and then actually forcibly decapitating the regime. The idea that Iran does not have enough prowess or enough power to be able to really deal a massive blow to Israel, in spite of Israel's unimaginable defense capabilities that we are fucking paying for, by the way. The answer is they could. It's more so a matter of do they want it? Do they want the American response that will come in retaliation? Are they willing to withstand? Are they willing to go to the unimaginable? Are they willing to go to the place where maybe it's World War III, Because Israel's goal, very clearly in unison with the United States of America, because Israel and America are not separate entities. They work alongside one another. They're hand in glove. Israel and America is the same, okay? I need you to understand this. This is a very important thing that people refuse to recognize. This is the reason why I kept repeating myself over and over again, saying Donald Trump and fucking Israel are like this. There is no real divide. The only divide maybe could be from how narcissistic he is. But beyond that, in terms of foreign policy goals, this is not Israel's doing. This is America's doing. America is the primary responsible party here. America and Israel are like this. They are one inseparable unit. Israel is simply America's wishes in the region, America's grand design in the region. Okay? That's precisely the reason why myself and a few other people in the process of like Donald Trump doing his like Middle Eastern conversations, in the process of like getting Idan Alexander, it was like myself, Zay Squirrel, I think it was like 4 other people that were like, this is bullshit and it's most likely not going to amount to anything, in spite of the fact that plenty of very smart commentators were still assuming that there could be a real separation between Israel and America here, but it was not happening. It was all just smoke and mirrors. And very clearly, the negotiation process, I said, the negotiation process was being used to basically develop this perfectly crafted, this perfectly crafted strike against Iran, a fairly sophisticated military campaign that they've obviously been implementing, that they've obviously been planning for quite a while. They don't get to do this without America's go-ahead. They don't get to do this without America's logistics. I'm talking about Israel, of course, and what they did last night. And I covered this extensively when they struck Tehran and they struck the nuclear facility as well, one of the nuclear facilities, and killed a bunch of nuclear scientists and also high-level IRGC commanders. Now, while Iran does clearly have the targeting capabilities of striking Tel Aviv and overwhelming the Iron Dome, as we have shown, Iron Dome is not the only defense that Israel has. There's numerous defenses. Will they actually deploy enough munitions to really punish Israel, to really actually show Israel their prowess and force Israel to back away, force Israel to back down, especially now that Israel has communicated, as we covered yesterday, on numerous occasions, that they are invested in a much longer military campaign here. Okay, because they called the American troops to move away from Bahrain and Kuwait. They called the embassies to pull out. Americans did, knowing full well that Iran was going to retaliate. And then the Israeli government came out and basically said, this is our big, last, final huzzah. This is the thing that they have been waiting for, attacking Iran and pulling America into the fucking battle and basically going to war with Iran is the final design, is the final piece of the puzzle for Israel and America's ambitions in the region.
They cannot think that they've hit us and it's over. No, they started this. And now they've launched a war. We will not let them get away with this large-scale crime. The forces of the Islamic Republic will deliver huge blows to the Zionist regime. My dear people should know that we have no shortcomings in delivering an answer to this.
Right, well, let's unpack some of the incredible pictures that we're seeing that not only have been coming out of Tel Aviv. You can hear those air raid sirens there warning people to get into their shelters, but we've also been seeing Israel attacking Iran also in the last few hours. Let's go to our senior political analyst, Marwan Bishara from Paris. Marwan, we're just hearing those air sirens. Anyone familiar with the area will know that that usually means attacks, missile attacks most likely. And it seems now Iran has confirmed that there is a second wave.
It was actually interesting that the Iranians decided to respond so quickly, so speedily to the Israeli bombing last night. Clearly, the political, the strategic, and even the public relations damage caused by the Israeli bombing was as such that the Iranian government had to respond as quickly as possible in order to restore some kind of a confidence in the government and in order to show that it is capable of responding to a sudden, unprovoked Israeli bombing of Iranian nuclear facilities. Now, I think, as you were saying earlier, I'm not sure if it's residential, but certainly if Iran is attacking civilian infrastructure in Tel Aviv, then I think that would continue to change the equation and perhaps allow for even greater escalation moving forward.
Marwan, when we're looking at those live pictures, what we're seeing now is those missiles
Israel's
being
awful, but their
intercepted,
air
not all of
defenses
them
paid
have,
for by the
because,
U.S. are really
there has been a
impressive.
fire, that's what we've
Yeah,
seen,
it's ours. We are doing this. That's why I'm saying this is a. That's why I am saying this right here. What you are experiencing, what you are watching, is our doing. This, we paid for it, we built it, we did the R&D. This is what we are doing. I can hear the interception above my house right now. We allow the Israeli state to be as violent as it wants to be. We want the Israeli state to be as violent as it wants to be. Israeli racism that actually allows, and the dehumanization of Palestinians and Arabs and Muslims alike, makes it feel like Israeli society is on board with everything that's going on, and to a certain degree they are, right? But that is just making it easier for America to enact its ambition in the region. Israel and America are not separate entities. Do not mistake. Make no mistake. Israel and America are not separate entities at all. Okay? This isn't what is it? The tail wagging the dog situation whatsoever. It's not like, oh, this is the Zionist occupied government or whatever the fuck people say. Okay? Everyone in the American government is a Zionist in the sense that they are like pro-Israel because they're pro-America, and their calculation is, as Joe Biden very famously said, if Israel did not exist, we'd make one. Okay?